Check the hundredths digit before rounding 3.47 to the nearest tenth.
Look at the sky. A storm is rolling in fast, and Pip, the fox, needs to find shelter. As Pip runs down this trail, he must decide which den is closest at every bend. To stay dry, he has to make that choice before the rain starts to fall. Identifying the nearest shelter is a spatial task. By mapping our position relative to a fixed midway point, we can determine exactly which benchmark we are closer to. Pip reaches the first fork in the trail. He stops at a point that seems to be right in the middle of two different den entrances. These dens represent our whole number benchmarks, 6 and 7. The stone marking the exact midpoint is 6.5. Pip is standing right on it. To round to the nearest whole number, we look at the tenths place. A 5 in the tenths place means the distance to 6 and the distance to 7 is exactly the same. 6.5 is the halfway mark. While the choice might feel like a toss-up, the math is specific. When a number sits exactly on the midpoint, the standard rounding convention is to select the higher benchmark. As we see here, 6.5 rounds to 7. This rule clarifies our position. If the determining digit is a 5, the final value is rounded up. The rain is getting closer, and the trail is tightening. Now, Pip has to navigate much smaller fractional gaps. At this bend, the markers are 3.4 and 3.5. The midpoint between them is 3.45. Pip has already moved past that center stone. If his exact position is 3.47 and we want to round to the nearest tenth, we isolate the digit immediately to the right of our target place, the hundredths digit. That digit is a 7. Because 7 is greater than 5, the number sits above the midpoint. He is physically closer to the higher benchmark. Our result is 3.47 rounds to 3.5. The scale is smaller, but the logic remains consistent. The steps for locating the nearest benchmark stay the same, even as we move into more precise place values. The path reaches an even tighter turn, requiring Pip to be even more precise. Here, the benchmarks are 12.76 and 12.77. Their midpoint is 12.765. Pip is still on the lower side of that stone. To round 12.762 to the nearest hundredth, we look one step to the right of our target place, at the thousandths digit. That digit is a 2. Since 2 is less than 5, the value sits below the midpoint. That means we select the lower benchmark. On this strip of bark, we see the result. 12.762 rounds to 12.76. No matter how many digits follow the decimal, only the digit immediately to the right of the rounding place determines the outcome. The storm is breaking. Pip faces one last bend in the trail, where the rounding rules face a final challenge. The markers show 3.9 and 4.0. Pip's location is 3.96, which is past the midpoint of 3.95. We are rounding to the nearest tenth. The 6 in the hundredths place is greater than 5, so we must round up to the higher benchmark. Look at what happens to the digits. When we increase the 9 in the tenths place by 1, we get 10 tenths. Those 10 tenths must be regrouped as one whole number. 3.96 rounds to 4.0. We keep that 0 visible to show that we have successfully rounded to the tenths place. Even when rounding forces every digit in the number to change, the relationship between the target digit and the midpoint determines the outcome. Pip reaches the safety of the den. One final check. Rounding 2.999 to the nearest hundredth forces regrouping all the way to the whole number, giving us 3.00. The process remains the same. Identify the benchmarks and midpoint. Look at the next digit and compare it to 5. If 5 or more, round up. This place value system provides a reliable method for finding the closest benchmark, no matter how many decimal places are involved. The calculation is complete, and Pip is finally safe and dry as the heavy rain washes over the forest.
The hundredths digit is 7, so 3.47 rounds to 3.5.